I saw a post on Facebook from a soccer club that annoyed the living crazy out of me. Doesn't take much for me to go nuts. But anyways, it said, tryout tip number 4. 1 month before tryouts, make sure you do 100-meter sprints 6 times a day, followed by 50 jumping jacks with 30-second breaks for recovery. And make sure you're eating a balanced diet with 70% carbohydrates and 20% proteins and 10% fat the week of tryouts. Something like that. Something dumb like that. That was so annoying. It's actually a friend of mine's club. He's the director of coaching. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna let him have it. So of course I let him have it and say, why is the whole focus on fitness? Why aren't you asking these kids to get 10,000 touches on the ball? And I just go off. I'm like, why doesn't technique matter? Is this a track team we're joining? You know, I went off on, I don't even know what I said. I'd read you what I said, but they deleted my comment, you know, which should not be allowed. Anyways, I got a bunch of likes from other neighboring soccer clubs. And it's so annoying because they're just as bad, but they're just kind of sticking to them, you know, agreeing with me because it's attacking their competition. But isn't that a problem we have? We're all about catering to the parent versus catering to what should be done. We should speak a certain way. We should act a certain way. We should focus on technique. We should make rules in soccer that you're not allowed to play soccer. I don't care how athletic you are. You're not allowed to play until you can master the ball. In some capacity, we need some measurement for these soccer players. If they reach a certain age and they can't handle the ball, you're banned from soccer. You can't play. Force these kids to go in their backyard and get 50,000 touches on the ball, 4 hours a day at home, and understand the importance of the ball. If we did something like that, there you go, U.S. soccer. It's that simple. Ban kids from playing soccer. You know, you don't put some kid in some grappling event against a black belt. You know, we have to mandate technique. What's the point of letting these kids play if their technique's not there? Don't let them play. They have to play in something else. Foot tennis, no contact, because they have no control of the ball. And it would actually protect kids. Concussions would go down, injuries would go down, because all these injuries and concussions happen. A lot of the concussions happen in the women's game, and I'll talk about that later in life. It's because of reckless play, because of lack of technique. Their first touch is always 3 feet off their foot to another player that's running 100 miles per hour. And then the person that has a horrible technique has a sprint after the ball, and then they're always colliding. Injuries happen when the ball's in between players. That's when it's happening. So if we had better technique and the ball's on the ground, it wasn't flying all over the place and going like crazy, injuries would be less, concussions would be less. So yes, here's my tryout tip for the day. All soccer clubs suck. Stay away from them all.
The podcast you just heard was recorded with Anchor. If you want to make your own, download the Android or iOS app completely free from anchor.fm/podcast. That's anchor.fm/podcast.